We are back. Huzzah. Hi, baby man. Can I help you? You go lay down, please. Of course, as soon as I start streaming, the dogs come in. We made some decent progress since the last time I did one of these streams. We do have both of our heads are fully foamed and all that, and they now have the electronics inside them. Problem is, we still got furring and stuff to do. I did try doing their tongues. I didn't like how they turned out, so we're going to remake their tongues, but with stabilizer this time. Oh, hi Bingus. Welcome to the party. The sun is here. Hello, Forest. Hi. Mwah. Can you go lay down, please? I love you. I do. But I literally just started streaming, and all of a sudden you want attention. Stay. So... Ooh, hey, that's where that's hey, it's my favorite sewing needle. It's been here all this time. This is why we don't have white rugs in an office with sewing needles. Because then they get lost in the white rug and you wonder where they've been for weeks. Whoopsie doodles. But we do have both sets of hand paws. So we've got our very nice 5-finger hand paws for each one. And they are the same. They're different colors, obviously, but they're otherwise the same. So both sets do have fingy escapes as well, which is nice. The only difference between these two sets of paws is that on this set there is a squeaker because I have summoned him. That is my bad. I just got him to go away and I summoned him. So we do have both of our very nice sets of beanie weenies for each of the suits. Which that was a whole side tangent for the electronics in the heads. So, now we have to work on actually patterning them. And since I want them to be identical, we're going to choose... There's hot glue on you. There's such a long string of hot glue. I'm going to pick whichever one I think... I feel like these are both pretty similar. I think this is... Oh! Camo! I think this is pretty similar on this cheek. This cheek is the smaller muzzle. And then on this one, this side is smaller. So the real question is, which of these is smaller comparatively? I want to say the cheeks are pretty much identical, although this one's a little bit more lumpy. Though I feel like this one has less muzzle. So, we're going to pattern off of this head for both heads. Oh, camo. Technical difficulties. Hold on. Let me see. Reconnecting. Oh. Hold on. Hold on. We got this. Hold on. Camo's been a pain in my butt today. Let me see if I close and reopen the app, if that does anything for us. I'll do it on both sides. Because sometimes it's just finicky about the connection, it doesn't connect right, and then it's a whole thing. Other times, it's just a butt. Phone camera, please. Someday I'll get a real camera plugged in. Today is not that day. Oh, whoa. Scurry. What if I want to... Oh, I see. I have to Okay, whatever. As long as it loads. As long as it loads. We better? Oh. We're struggle busing, but... Oh, good lord. Good lordy Lou. Alright. And then I think actually... Cool. Now you guys can see everything. Don't be surprised if there's a bit of lag here and there. I don't know what it has going on exactly, but for whatever reason, the one app I use for the camera feed is just being a butt today. It's just being a butt today. It's what it do. It mick be like it mick do. I got this little bobbin and black thread that decided to go on an adventure earlier, so... Wrapping. There we go. Stay. Cool. Alright, anyway. This guy, we're going to use his left side. Which is both a blessing and a curse. Because that means... I mean, it's good because it means we get to account for the ring on the side of his head. It's bad because there's the ring on the side of his head. But otherwise, the markings are... So... We'll get started with some of the big chunks of tape. I really like to use the fur to help smooth out my bases. Which I find most people find does and doesn't make sense, because they're like, oh, well, if you have a smooth base, then your fur can't look bad. But also, if you pull your fur super snug over a foam, like, foam compresses. You know? So if I compress over top of like a ziggy-zag area like this, where there's like, you can see like a little bumps from where I carved, if you compress it, it just becomes flat. Because that's how upholstery foam works, right? The points are what compress first, then the rest of the foam. So it becomes much, much more even if you have a snug fit. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the density of the foam. Whether intentionally or unintentionally. But most of today is just going to be doing this. And hopefully, since I'm here and I'm thinking about it... Oh, itchy eyeball. Since I'm here and I'm thinking about it, hopefully we'll get back onto our regular streaming schedule. Words are hard. At least for the most part. It might not be exactly the same as it was before. But I'm hoping to get back into it. Because unfortunately the new job did not work out. So now I have plenty of time to stream whenever I like. So I think we're going to go back to the Mondays, Wednesdays, and possibly Thursdays. Definitely the Mondays and Wednesdays. And then maybe even some bonus streams. Like I might do an evening stream on Mondays or something like that, depending on how I feel. Specifically for gaming, you know, like I'd like to keep the Monday, Wednesday crafting theme going. But a lot of times it's a lot of effort. And I don't always have the energy to move around all my stuff and get it set up. Or sometimes I'm not even in a good place to set up for a crafting stream, you know? Because like I had to take all of the computer stuff that you guys can't see, and the microphone that you can see. I had to take all that and set it up off screen and all that. And like, I feel like it's kind of pointless to shave fur on stream unless it's just like a small chunk of fur and that's it. But when I'm shaving multiple yards worth of fur, you guys don't want to be here for that, do you? Like, it's just loud. You can't hear anything that I'm doing. And that's over on the floor, so then I have to move the camera and stuff. Which, I mean, if you guys want to see that, I'm down. It is very satisfying when it cooperates. The unfortunate thing is that the gray fur I bought for this does not want to cooperate. It does not shave very well. Can I help you, sir? No. You were just outside. No. See, he's bored. He's been cooped up for the last week-ish, because I've been off running around doing stuff, and he's been stuck at home. Although we did have some fun the other day chasing a squirrel back and forth on a tree. For several hours, mind you. The dogs chased that squirrel for forever. Tell you what, though, it was enrichment. Dogs were very easy after that. They took a nice nap. Do I feel bad for the squirrel? Yes. We did eventually get the dogs to leave it alone so it could get off the tree and go where it was trying to go, which was apparently still just vibing in the tree for another 40 minutes. So I don't think the squirrel was too bothered. The squirrel was eating all the apples off our tree because we got lots of apples up top from this last year. But other than that, they've been pretty bored all week, and it's too cold for me to go outside and run around too much, because that requires a lot of bundling from my tiny ass. I get cold very easily. I also get hot easily, so there's no winning with me these days. But you know, it is what it is. So... oh, I don't want to do that, though, because then it's not... snug. That's alright. That's alright. See, now here's a problem that I'm running into. Because this is not flush with the foam, which I did do intentionally. When I go to put it on the other side, there's going to be kind of a extra fabric. Hopefully, because it's a small enough piece, this shouldn't be an issue. Worst case scenario, I do have to actually cut this out and stitch it back in. It's a whole thing. But I am taping over it because we will need it for the other side. Or will we? It's actually a pretty good point. We don't necessarily need it for the other side. I know I got a box cutter somewhere. Come here, box cutter. The joys of a peg chair. A chair with a pegboard. Not a peg chair. There is a difference. There we go. So I've decided that I am actually just going to tape around that circle, because to be honest, it's going to be so much easier to just not cut out the circle. That's pretty much all I'm going to do here anyway, is cut out the circle. Which I don't think I have, if we look at the reference sheet down in the corner, I don't think... oh, well. Whoa! Stroke. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on, my computer's struggle busing because I asked it to close File Explorer. It does that every time with all the music, because it's a lot. My computer's a little outdated these days. It's trying its best, alright? Minimize. I need to look at the reference sheet because even I don't know what I'm doing. This is why we have reference sheets. So we can go back and double check. Yeah, so most of the head is the same color. Which is kind of unfortunate, but I do like the simplicity of it. It makes it a lot easier. And plus I think that means that the LEDs here are going to pop much, much more. Which would be nice. There we go. Another thing I want to do is I want to pull these ears upwards so they sit more upright like a German Shepherd, rather than out and making him look kind of like a bat cat, you know? So we're going to tape the ears and we're going to pull them up. But that's going to be kind of a later taping process point. Because we got to get something for it to stick to up here. Very important. Another thing is he will have hair tufts. They both will. They'll both have a hair tuft, as you can see in the photo. But I don't usually worry about those until after I have the fur on the face. Which, because these are smaller hair tufts, I do want to shave the face. So if you haven't seen how I make fursuits, I generally do an initial shave on all of the fur that's going to be shaved. And then for my fursuit heads and other places where I can do that, I go back and... Sorry, I had to focus really hard on this tape spot. I go back and I shave it nicer later because it's a lot easier to do that after it's on the head than before. Just because then I can shave in the direction the fur is supposed to go, if that makes sense. Like, we'll cut his face into pieces, so usually like, this will be a piece, this whole part will be a piece, and this will be a piece. But the fur comes this way and also this way, so technically the fur direction is trying to go two different ways on the cheek. So a lot of times what ends up happening is I'm shaving here, I'm shaving here, I'm shaving here, so it's changing direction as I shave, and it tends to smooth out the shave a lot more. Plus then, you know, we go back over it with a hand razor to try and clean it up some. To be honest though, the fur lately has not been agreeing with my heavy-duty clippers, specifically the gray fur, the charcoal. I say the gray fur, there's so many shades of gray on it. I want to say our medium shade of gray. It has not been agreeing with it, which is unfortunate, because this guy's entire head is the medium gray, whereas the other suit head is the light gray, with the medium gray on the ears. So it's a whole thing, all the time, always. But you know, this is how it goes. Struggle busting 24/7. My biggest thing is I'm worried about it taking the buckram, because we do have ear vents. They are not big ear vents, but they are ear vents. They're actually somewhat easy to do, so I'm going to start offering them on suits. I personally am going to put fur over top of the vents, because fur is somewhat breathable. I feel like either way, having somewhere that it doesn't have to go through foam on the top of the head is going to be extremely helpful. So that is the big thing, is when I get these completed, at least the heads, I'll be able to add a lot more new stuff to commissions. That's kind of the point of me doing suits like this and pre-mades and the such that is suits that aren't for commission. Sorry, I'm trying to really round out this shape here, which I feel like I did a pretty good job as far as carving it in the first place, but our biggest thing is I don't want this to look like a corner. You know, I want it to curve, which I think I've succeeded in doing. Because a lot of times I'll kind of get this boxy shape, this like flat top, flat side deal, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't like the big boxy shape, so really waiting for Camo to figure its crap out. Whew. I want it to be smoothed out more rather than boxy. On this side, you can kind of see it's smoothed out. It's hard to see where I have and haven't taped on camera, just because it's white tape. But that helps me mark it down later, because then I can use lighter color Sharpies if I want. which makes my life easier at least. Swoopy. And then I'm going to tape up the rest of the back of his head, which I also want to work on smoothing out. Because that is another big thing, is like the back of the head is kind of hard to get smoothed out real nice, you know. I'm just going to taper straight to the mannequin head. And our biggest thing is, like, we want this to be a curve and not a shelf, you know. But that's easier said than done. And I have found that, like, one of the easier ways to do that is with the lining and all that. Smooth it. There we go. Of course, back of the head is the part people look at the least, but, you know. I've also seen this new trend of like a mohawk kind of deal where the fur comes in and makes this little spike down the back of the head, and I almost debate doing it on these guys. But I don't think it fits their style, you know? It fits the style of these guys. So now I'm going to start taping up the ear. But I'm starting slightly above the bottom of the ears because, like I said earlier, I want to pull them up and in. So this will give us room to do that because we're essentially going to squish the foam into place. Sometimes that's just the easier way to do it rather than repatterning and re-gluing over and over again. Because a lot of times when you glue on foam, once when you take off the piece and try to re-glue again, it doesn't attach as well. It just doesn't. And sometimes it's easier for me to cut out a little triangle and swoop it in, but that is not the case with these guys. Okay, so... And then we're gonna adhere. There we go. Well, it helps that that piece isn't folded up all stupid like, but you know. We're just going to kind of use our fur to actually shape how the final ear shape is going to look. And of course this right here is one of those weird seams anyway because I ladder stitch around the entire base of my ears. I find that gets a much cleaner result than trying to glue the whole base on. I tend to get lumps in this space specifically if I don't do that. So that's the workaround, is to just glue them on separately and sew them on after. After everything's glued. I do think this still needs a little bit of help. We need to pull it down from the back side. Just a little bit. Boop and pole, and your shoes are looking cool. I also just feel like in general this ear is significantly smaller than this ear, which I don't know what that's about. I'm pretty sure I tried all of them smaller, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, because that's like a significant half-inch difference. That is weird. I did end up post-trimming a lot of the ears, though. So it's a good thing we went with this one. This is why we go with the smaller pieces, because then we'd have like a whole inch of bagginess on one ear for no reason. But this is also why I'm only patterning half the head, even though technically they're asymmetrical, because I want them as symmetrical as possible, with the exception of the LED ring, which is honestly the easiest thing to pattern around. And of course, I'm not really in frame right now, because taping up his really tall earsies. Here, if I back him up, can you guys see better? Maybe, mayhapses. A little bit. It puts him more in frame at least. There really isn't a good angle for me to put you guys on for looking at the work I'm doing. Because if I put you in front of me, then obviously you're in the way. If I put you over there, you're not going to get a good angle because of the shelf. So that's the best spot I've got for you at the moment. I think it would be fun someday, mayhapses, to get a GoPro set up. And then you guys can see exactly what I see, except maybe slightly taller or slightly shorter than me. Which, honestly, most people are slightly taller than me anyway, so it would be from an average person's height. It would really be just more of a question of how hard would it be? Where's a better place to put it, you know? But I think that would be fun to do suit making streams. But like a POV type deal. Hello, Forest. And then you guys would get to see the nonsense that my dogs are up to from my point of view as well. Which was another reason why I wanted a GoPro. I would like to do some outdoor streams with the dogs and strap you guys to Forest, because that little fucker zooms so much. And I think it would be a blast for everybody to go outside and go for a run. Plus then, you know, it gives me the excuse to go out and play with the dogs while also still streaming. Bingus does not like the sound of that, apparently. It sounds like a lot of work to Bingus. Oh, yeah. We're finally back to a point where I don't have to stand to do what I'm doing. I will not stand for this. I don't know what music's playing, so it's too quiet for me to hear it over our loud ass heater. At least the house is warm. Can't complain so long as the house is warm. And not on fire. But that's my 2 requirements for a heater. Make it warm, don't make it on fire. See, now that's an issue right there. But that's fine. There we go. That's better. We're almost done. Almost done with the taping. Although that part of our guy disagrees wholly entirely. It does not want to be what it is. And then of course we still have to get the lower jaw. But that's usually pretty quick. So we gotta get here, and we gotta get the nose. We're gonna do the nose first, because that's gonna be easier. It's gonna be a lot of little pieces, but it'll be easier. I really want the definition in the nostrils, just it'll show through later on. Take him off of there now. Off of there now. Maybe not, because I'll take to the noggin. But like right here, we've got issues where the bottom curve of his muzzle is not very happy with us. So we're going to we do that a little bit. Can I help you, sir? I see you brought your rope in here. No, I'm just gonna go look out the window. That's alright. Not gonna lie, I think I'm gonna switch to my other camera at some point because it's gonna get you about the same quality video as my phone is, considering how Camo can't seem to cooperate for more than 30 seconds. It is the way it is, Joe. That's okay. There's that. Real question is how far down the chin do we want to go? Because right now we're making our lower jaw pretty small because it's inset on the phone. I do think I want to take that in just a little more. Just a little more. And then we'll worry about lining when we get to it. Except I do think we can get away with bringing it in even further. This is how you go even further beyond. Oh god, I do miss the designs. 'Twas the days, 'twas the days. There we go. Yeah, that way we're not having to do a bunch of weird crap with our linings. Good stuff, good stuff. Alright. I do both for antlers, so sometimes it depends on what people prefer. If they want like a more smooth, shiny texture, we go with a 3D printed, especially if they want them to be hard. But if they'd rather they be plush and soft, we can go with, not Lycra, but something similar to this, a spandex. I guess Lycra and spandex are pretty much the same thing. We could go metallic, we could go non-metallic. If they want it fuzzy, kind of like fresh new antlers, we could go with minky. Usually, if I'm doing plush antlers, they're stuffed. I don't do foam cores, I do plush polyfill. For the most part, it depends on the antlers. But again, that's usually up to preference for whether people want them plush or 3D printed. It also depends on what I can find for, like, people want to go for like a certain look with their antlers, right? I am not good at modeling personally, so I get like free models that I can find online, which there's a decent amount of free antler models out there. But, you know, some people want a very specific set of points or shapes for their points, and it's like, well, I can't model that, so we'll have to go foam plush stuff. So it depends. I'm just noticing some lumpy lumps on my table here. No, sir, you were just outside. No. Go ask your dad. Go bug him. He's not gonna go bug him. He's gonna stay in here and keep bugging me. We just got home from being out and about right before stream, so he's just bored. But we did let them out when we got home, and then I let them out right before stream, so he should not have to go. He's just being let, as he often likes to do. Alright. Oh, that's just being like that. Okay. I'm going to clean up around the eyes and the LEDs real quick to try and smooth out those points. Because if you want our shape defined, not impossible, you know? Take over that real quick too. I'm gonna come right up along. Edge there. I got this weird little buckle going on here. I don't know what that's about. We're gonna get rid of it. I don't like it. It's gone now. This is also why we sew on the inside of our seam lines for faces, because we'd rather they be snug than too loose. You can always squish foam more. You can't exactly make it expand more. There we go. Alright. We're gonna doodle our details. I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna mark the outer edges of everything. And the midline, because that is also important. Gonna mark where all of our symmetry is and stuff. So that way we know. Gonna mark where the bottom of our ear is. Because this is gonna have to be separate. It's going to be separate because of colors anyway, but you know. And this is also how we find spots that we did not tape up quite as well as we thought, because they were being sneaky. Stupid little foam spots. There we go. Beep, beep. There we go. Alright. Gonna mark around the eye blank. Oop. Gonna mark around the eye blank, not necessarily on it. There we go. And then same thing for the LED ring. Because we don't want any of this excess tape, but we do want it to go right up to the edge there. And then for this little piece right here, I just gotta remember, because it's not glued in, I'm just going to take a little bit of scrap cotton and scrap fur and just, and then, you know, we'll glue that in later. But it should be plenty of stuff on its own without glue anyway. But just for my sake, we'll glue it in later. Shush. Forrest. He's over here huffing at nothing. Well, he's probably huffing at the neighbor, so not nothing, but they live there. They deserve peace. Alright. So now we have to separate our color patterns. Which, quite frankly, is not much more than this, because we really just need to do this. And then... I don't really have a side view, I just know we want it to be all of the muzzle, so... Which that is another thing too, we do want to separate the upper jaw and lower jaw seams. Not that this matters, I don't think. Because it's not going anywhere. And then that should be it for the face, aside from some cheek fluff. We're going to do some very minor cheek fluffs on this guy. On both of them, I should say. Now we're going to draw out the blue portion of the ears, which we don't want them to be pointed, we want them to be rounded at the tips. So we're going to go all the way out to the edge, but when we get to the top, we need to make sure that does not go all the way to the edge because we want it rounded. There we go. And then we do need to figure out their eyebrows. That's the hard part, is we do need to... It's going to take me a few efforts. Because we're going for neutral, which means... They also have particularly small eyebrows. I think that's still not quite the angle. Believe it or not, you can erase Sharpie off of duct tape using friction. You can literally just scratch it right on off. I'm kind of going for these blocky brows. Perfect, that's better. I don't know if that's too far apart, though. I feel like I made his eyebrow too wide, maybe? Too much brow, too much brow. Not by a lot, but like enough. What do we think of that? I think those are the vibes. That's better, you know. Because that gives us more space, too, between the there and there. And I'd want it, if you look on the reference sheet, which I know is very tiny down there, the brow is supposed to end slightly before the eye blank is, but it's supposed to also fit within the width, which I think, honestly, on the reference sheet, they're wider than they are tall. So it's a whole thing. There's not as much space on our physical actual head as there is on the drawing of the head, which tends to happen. But I do think that's the look we're going for. Hi, Big Wings. Oh, sorry, I just punched you. I'm sorry. Hi, hello. Hi, hello. Little baby. Little baby. Hello, little baby. Little baby wants some lovin's right now. Hello, little baby. Little baby's got floppy ears. Little baby got floppy ears. Yes, I love you. Hi. Okay, goodbye. No. I told you to go bug your dad. Forrest. What did I say? He's trying to act cute to get out of it. Need a big baby. Big baby who's gonna get in trouble. Big baby's gonna get in trouble. Actually, I need this. I already used this piece of paper, so I'm just gonna use it again. Would you fuck off? God, I love you, but please go over there somewhere. No. Thank you, good boy. He's just being a butt for the sake of being a butt. Alright, so this should be online for the cheek. I don't know how high on the cheek we actually want to go. I feel like we want to keep this pretty low. Not quite low, but definitely in the middle. So this is what our flutes generally look like. Oh, perfect. That is quite literally perfect. I'm gonna mark a dot where it starts for future me. Problem is if I sew this shape, it's not going to stay this shape at all. If I do that, though, it will hold its shape a little bit more. And then we're just gonna size it down a little bit. Trust me, it makes sense. I know it's nonsense on all ends of this, but we have fur, so we don't need to size it up. We just need to size it out. Because we need the fabric to cooperate with us. So we need to give space for each of the points to actually exist. I'm not going to stuff these ones though. Mainly because there's no reason to. I don't want them to be super thick cheek floofs. I want them to be just enough to exist. Which, let's look back here. Yeah. No, right there. Oh, perfect. Good shit. And then I want to mark where this one ends as well. And draw that line from where it sits. Goody goody. Good shit, good shit. So, I can show you here in a second. Essentially what I have done is this cheek floof is going to go right here, right? Once when the fur is on, these points are not going to be as well defined, but hopefully this will give them a little bit of shape. I could force them to have shape, but I'm not. I don't care. It's more just for a cartoony look, rather than just a flat of fur. Then we'll have our furs doing things. But this line, I'm going to actually cut out of this piece for all the sides. And when I stitch my tufts, I'm going to slot them into that line and sew through. And I find that that generally helps them sit nicer for these smaller tufts. I know some people do foam core tufts where they're really thick and they have shape to them and then whoof, cheek. But that makes for huge cheek floofs, which I do not want. I want these guys to have kind of small, not particularly noticeable cheek floofs. I just want it to be a little bit of longer fur there in the darker color. But I think that's all of the face details. So now he's going to mark our colors, because the cheek floof is going to be dark on both of them. Dollar General. This, they are symmetrical, so it's fine. It's fine. I gotta remember it's symmetrical in my brain hole. Eyebrows are also Dollar General for both of them. That's our directional. Swoopy. Swoopy. I'm just marking out all of my directions while I'm thinking about it. Swoopy. Swoopy. Because the last thing we want is to cut this thing apart and not know which direction the fur is supposed to go. There we go. Because that would be horrible. Horribles. Alright, this is the muzzle. And the muzzle is also Dollar General on both of them. I'm just putting down DG for dark gray, so hence the Dollar General bit. This is going to be light gray and medium gray between them. Right. I want to make sure I have my right grays, because that's only the one has the lighter gray. The other one does not. The other one, this guy, has the medium gray, the dark gray, and the white. Brown-eyed boy has the light gray, medium gray, and dark gray and white. Which I'm not sure how I managed to do that, but I did, and that's fine by me. It's fine by me. What are you huffing for? She huffing. And this is going to be blue, and this is going to be blue, and the direction does not matter because that's not even fur or minky or anything else that matters. It's going to be this stuff, which is going to be dope. This is the cheek, which I just wrote down as chicken. Good old muscle memory. But on this guy, so on one of them, this is medium gray, and then on the other one, it's white. So I'm going to put MGW. It looks like Mew, because I can't write decent. MGW. And I want to double check, because I don't actually have their full reference sheets open. I just have what you guys see. Which this might scare my computer a little bit because we have so many things open. I want to double check that there's not any weird patterns on the backs of the heads. The top and the back, I should say, like the backs of the ears. Because obviously we're not doing this part right now. This is future me's problem. I want to double check that I don't have anything on the backs of the ears that I need to worry about. Which I don't think I do, but you know. And then we are, just for my sake, going to split down this seam, because I know that's going to need it. Get out of here. I don't really care. Oh, the lag. Okay, so it looks like no, there is nothing on the backs of them. Cool. So that is in fact Future Me's problem. Yes, save the changes. God. Okay. Are we existing? Oh, lag. This is fine. This is probably fine. And then I know I need to split along this curve in order to make those pieces actually work. And a lot of this is just trial and error from past me, so current me already knows what I'm doing. Current me thinks that we should split the front and backs. Back, head, forehead. I mean, I feel like that one's gonna be pretty obvious. And this is gonna be... What did I say? Oh, we don't even know. We don't even know, because we haven't done it yet. The face. This one's gonna be... So for him, it's gonna be light gray, and then for the other guy, it's gonna be medium gray. Yeah. So we're gonna put that on all of our face pieces. Light gray, medium gray, light gray, medium gray. And this is all the same piece, but you know, just for my sake, I'm Dollar General. For my sake. So that way I know who goes where. Which thankfully, because they are so simple in their faces, it shouldn't be a whole lot of pieces to keep track of. Hello, hello! We are working on a set of twin suits. They're somewhat identical, as you can see from the photo in the bottom, but they do have slightly different color patterns. Well, color palettes, I should say. Their patterns are the same. But I think we're just about done figuring out what colors go where. This is going to throw me for a loop, I tell you what. Because we have so many things that are doing things. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Because instead of having to keep track of where pieces go on one... Of where pieces go on one face, I now have to keep track of it on two faces. And I have to make sure I sew the right face pieces to each other and not accidentally sew like the wrong ears onto the wrong face or something, like the wrong colored muzzle. Although the muzzles are the same color for both of them, so I guess that doesn't really matter. It shouldn't be too hard, but this is a personal project for me. There's a few different reasons I'm doing this. First off, because I wanted to really bad. I've always wanted to do a set of twin suits. But also because this is how I go about figuring out how to do new things. Normally I do this with pre-mades, but I already have so many pre-mades, and I honestly wanted to do these for myself because I like this design. This one makes me happy. So, actually, if I could show you, mayhaps is, I don't normally do electronics in my suits. The most I usually do is a mouth fan, which these suits do not have. Yeah. We're just gonna rip this box open. It's gonna die anyway. What color, what color, what color? I hope it's blue. It is blue! Yay! You don't know how excited I was for that battery pack to be blue, but that's besides the point. So, normally I only do mouth fans, because that's really simple wiring. I don't know how to code or any of that good stuff, but I do know some simple wiring. So I am trying to figure out how to get LEDs into suits. So this is our big project right here, is getting working LEDs in our suits. But also there's a couple other things, like this guy has ear vents, which I hadn't done in a suit before. They both have that, actually. And then we're going to try some other features that aren't in any suits I've done in the past, so I can start offering them for commission, because I would like to test it out and see if I can actually do it before I start offering it, you know? I don't want to charge someone $300 to put LEDs in their suit heads just for them to not be able to get them and you have to refund them because they don't work, you know? Like, that would be silly. Which I know on camera you guys can't really see it that well. But there are things happening here. It's so goddamn bright. But yeah, so that's generally how this is going. And I think this is really fun. We also did get the hand paws finished already. So this is for this guy's. This goes with Mr. Blue Eyes here. And then Mr. Brown Eyes gets these darker iteration of paws. So I think they turned out real nice. And they have fingy escapes, which I have done before. But I just like doing fingy escapes. So mostly it's just a personal project, passion project. And also partly it's I really wanted to do something cool that I haven't done before. And I don't want to mess it up on a commission type deal. So we do have a lot of features that are going into these suits that haven't been done in any of my previous suits. Hopefully. Like, we are trying some hypermotion tails, some silicone core tails. Hopefully it works. We'll find out. But it's really 50-50 if it's going to work or not. I have a feeling that for the size tails that I want to do, it's not going to work, but I won't know till I try it. So that's where we're at with that. But for now, we're working on furring the faces. I don't know why I took them off, because I need to be able to stick them. I gotta be able to stick them. You get over here. We're gonna put Mr. Brown Eyes. It's over there. They also, technically, they don't have names yet. Because they are fandom based. So they are based on Detroit Become Human. But I don't necessarily want to just call them Connor. Because first off, there's two of them. We got the RK800 and the RK900. Because we're nerdy like that. But we're still debating on like how to actually call them. I think it'd be really cool for them to be like a furry version of the RK models. So rather than being RKs themselves, they'd be technically something separate that's based off of them. That's me being a nerd. That's a whole long story. But we'll figure it out eventually. I get sent these books constantly in the mail. They won't stop sending them to me. So we're going to use them as scrap paper. Because why not recycle? But Fort McPherson. In Atlanta. Is that what they renamed it to? They renamed it to McPherson? Or is this a different fort I don't know about? Because it used to be... Oh, what was it? What was it, Bingus? You're from there. He's like, I don't know, but you've got the really scary paper. I've got my dog right here. She's old. And she's scared of weird things like paper. And cardboard boxes. And vacuums. But she's fine with semis and trains and boats. And other motor vehicles doing really fast speeds right next to her face. Although, to be fair, we were both freaked out by the floor cleaner at Walmart. Because she is a retired service dog. I should specify, I'm not taking my pets into Walmart. Because that is yucky. For a lot of reasons. First off, it's illegal. Second off, there's food in Walmart. It's a food safety issue, which I feel like a lot of people don't get. What just fell? Nothing! Cool. This is what happens when people talk to me. I get onto a bunch of tangents and then I blab at 80,000 miles an hour. So don't mind me. That is the vibe here. And now we're trying to very carefully, without lopping his nose off, take off his nose. Which this is going to be a whole thing in and of itself, because as you can see, the tongues did not turn out great. So I do have iron-on stabilizer, which I haven't really used much, much less on this material. So it's going to be some trial and error to get this to sit and look nice. But hopefully with that, we can get this nice metallic look to all our blue details. I will be honest, I'm very disappointed that I can't get a geometric detailing into the fabric. That kind of makes me sad, but... Oh, Bingus, your breath, good lord. It's very hard to find a holographic fabric in the first place, much less ones with specifically triangle geometries. You can get plenty of pentagons, hexagons, you know, multi-shaped, glittery geometries. But, like, just to get triangles is so hard to do. Which, if I was 3D printing, well, that would be a different story. I could very easily get a hollow filament and get a thing that does the thing and makes it hollowy. Words. But I'm not 3D printing because I'm not going to 3D print the ears and I'm not going to 3D print the details on the body. That's all fabric. We need fabric. So, although I wonder, could you heat press a pattern? You can heat press a pattern. How? Big brain. We're having big brains. Because now I'm wondering, right? Bingus is not wondering. Bingus is sick of my shit. But I'm wondering, could I potentially melt a geometric pattern? I don't know how heat resistant this fabric is, because it's not like a fuzzy, it's not like Minky, where you could heat press it, iron a design into it. I feel like I would just ruin the fabric if I did that. I'm just going to use scissors for this part, because I don't usually like to use scissors to cut through the duct tape, because it makes them sticky. Oh, fudge nuggets. Whatever. Stick. Cool, and that's Future Me's problem. Oh. This is the hardest part of this, honestly, is trying to get all of this tape off without ruining what you taped, and also without ruining what you taped on. You know, probably not, but, you know, words are hard and all that jazz. It has also become, apparently, my new favorite phrase is "and all that jazz." But it's the vibes. Okay. This is the lower jaw piece, which you can tell because it makes no sense as a piece on its own. But it do be like that. He's gonna be whoop, a problem. That's okay. And then I'll cut darts into them in a minute. Cool. Just suddenly got a big itch in my shoulder blade. Out of nowhere. And then this should be easy enough because I can actually pull it away, which gives me the ability to hold tension on the tape and also slice through it without getting the foam underneath, which is hooray. Hooray. Alright. Can I I don't care if the paper underneath wrinkles or not. What matters is that the piece maintains its original shape for the most part. Because I can always go back and cut darts if I need to, which this one's gonna need, but you know, because this is the nose right here. This is where it meets in the middle. So we'll probably, honestly, I can either cut a dart here or I could cut a dart here, and I think I'd rather cut it on the side of the muzzle because A, that's an easy place to shave, and B, if it's on the side here, it's not going to be as noticeable. Because it's not going to be right on top of the face where everybody's looking. And our biggest thing is trying to hide our seams. The rest of this is all one piece though, and that is scary. I do not like to have a center seam on my heads because I find that having that middle seam it's so hard to shave and brush out to not exist. So it's just easier to not have one if I don't need to. So I'm kind of debating cutting directly along the middle of the circle and just tracing it like that. Problem is, if I do that, then I have the chance of that warping, which we do not want. I could also cut just at the bottom of the circle, and then that'll put a horizontal line right there, which I don't think we want that either. We could do something weird. We could come down, kind of come down and up. But I don't know if that's a better idea or not. I do know, though, that either way we have to detach our ear from our here. Oh, but I never figured out what that outer edge was. There we go. I'm debating. I'm really debating. Because this all comes off just fine. But, like, I'm not worried about this one warping. I'm worried about this one, the top half of the circle warping. You know what? We'll go for it. We're just gonna hope. Although, new big brain. Nah, that would be right in the front. I don't want that either. We're gonna cut right along here. Surgical time. Because I don't mind this being a big piece. It's just, I didn't want it to be the entire face all in one piece. And then trying to make it reflect on top of that. Because that's just not realistic. Plus, the fur has to go that way, the fur has to go this way, it's a whole thing. Oh, this is how I lose a thingy. There we go. Now we got our big old cheek chunk. Oh. There we go. There we go. Problem solved, mostly. Although I did steal some. That's fine. It's mostly just to keep it from sticking to me when I'm trying to trace the whole thing. So as long as there's not, like, half the thing covered and sticky, then I'm fine. And we're gonna worry about actually, flattening them out here in a minute. Burp, burp. Am I going crazy, Bingus? I heard my phone going off. I might be going crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. Oh, good lord. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. I really don't want to accidentally damage. Oh, see? And that's something that I gotta learn. There's not enough glue under this ear vent. But that's okay, we're gonna go back over and glue things anyway. So, just to keep an eye on that, because that is definitely peeling off right there. See, but this one doesn't. This one has a little bit right there, but that's not loose. That's just a part I didn't glue on the outer edge. This one's loose, so that might just be from the taping process. I don't know. We'll see how our other guy's ears feel about it. It might also be loosened from the fact that I, like, ripped his ear out of place, kind of a deal. I didn't actually rip it, but I was yoinking it to try and get it and sit in a position I like better. So. We are vibing. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum. That is quite alright. Wow. There's that piece. Actually, I could take a box cutter for this one. This one will come off just fine with a box cutter. Rotate. Rotate. Cool. Cool. And then does anybody have extra room on their sheet? Not really. Cool. That's alright. We've only got hundreds of pages that we can use. I'm trying to think of what would be the next best step here. Probably. No, don't stick to yourself. There we go. Oh, but we didn't actually cut all the way through all the layers. Cool. My favorite. There we go. This is simultaneously the worst and the best duct tape, because it's real good at just existing, but it's not super sticky. Like, it sticks enough for a short while, but it really does not, like, adhere to the foam like some brands do, which means I can just pull it right on off with no worries. Downside, it also means that it's not very good at being duct tape. Ooh, I sliced all the way down. Oh no, I didn't. That's just where the seam is. I just happened to get directly on the seam first try. What do you know? That's actually really funny. I don't normally put my sewing seams directly on my foam seams. That's a good coincidence. A coinky-dink. There we go. Almost. There we go. One. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit both of the earpieces on here. I think this one might be too chunky. Oh, so this is the last couple pieces. Okay. Let me... Did I put the book all the way back up? No, I didn't. Where did I put the book? Oh. That's okay. I'm a little special. Scooting. There we go. Plunk plunk. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob. It's fine. Everything is fine. Am I panicking? Maybe a little, but it's fine. I mean, that was pretty flat to begin with, but you know. And now this one I am going to have to modify a little bit. Ooh. Trying to take some of the foam with you, are ya? Rude. I don't really know why we had this point, so I'm just gonna cut that off. Because we don't need it. We don't need the excess fabric there. Just let it do a wraparound. I didn't pull out enough pages. Like an idiot. Like, I haven't done this before. Ground salt. Alright, and that's one piece ready to be traced. guy I did whoopsie doodle on a little bit. Problem solved. There we go. Now we got our inner earpiece. Alright, now this one might need a dart in it. Because he is kind of curvy. Kind of a little bit. There we go. Little tiny dart. Oh, well, it's over there now. This one shouldn't need a dart, though. Is he wonky? A little bit. Is he supposed to be wonky, though? No, that was a me problem that happened. Not the pattern. This piece should not need a dart at all. But I made it wrinkle a little bit when I put it on here, and that was a whoopsie. This one definitely needs. Definitely needs. There we go. Problem solved. Problem solved. Shwip, shwip. Alright. Now, this is the muzzle piece that we were talking about earlier. That sits right here. So I think the best thing to do will be to put a point right there. And that flattens it out real goodly. My ad, no ads. Everybody in ad jail. All the children to jail. To the ad jail. Ah, there we go. There we go. It's fine. I'm panicking, it's just me. Alright. There we go. And then actually, it really seems like if I just... Yeah. Problem solved. And then I do need to cut this line out just for marking purposes. For our cheek flutes later. Which that just means that when I go to put the cheek flutes in, I'll have to stitch this little spot together first, and then sew in the cheek pieces, the cheek fluff pieces. Which my shoulder is starting to do things. Ooh, I think I got it. Anyway, now this guy we're going to cut off all his excess because this is from the back of the head, so there's a lot of extra tape on him. Hey. Now he does have a slight curve to him. To be honest, I don't know that this needs a dart though. Dart it wrong? I did, didn't I? No, I think that was a good dart. It's just this one was a useless dart. Oh. That's alright, that just means you don't worry about that dart later. Because it's not doing anything, you just trace it like normal. Honestly, I don't even know that it really needed that first dart. I think I could very much get away with not putting a dart there and then reflecting it. Which I did not draw a line for. Shit. I do need to draw some reflection lines for the pieces like the muzzle and the lower jaw, which I know that that one's reflected. But this piece needs to be reflected, and this is our funky boy piece. Oh, come on. There we go. And then I do need to cut out that eyebrow, but I'm not going to right this moment because I'm not tracing tonight. It is late. It is almost my bedtime, not gonna lie. I've been going to bed early and getting up early this last couple of weeks, so... I'm gonna go to bed once we're done cutting these out, but I don't want to cut out the eyebrow piece because it's so little. I don't want to lose him. So. I do feel like this guy needs a dart. Question is where? I don't want to put it right across there. Can I get away with a dart right here? No. I'm gonna be honest, I think if I cut out the eyebrow, do like a dart here, and use the eyebrow line as a dart point, that'll help, and that'll work perfectly well, actually. But if I do that, then I'm gonna have a floppy woppy piece of stuff, because I already cut that first dart super close to it, so. I'm gonna fix the first dart. Put it back. Put that thing back where it came from, so happy. There we go. Because yeah, it is doing this nice big old curve right here. I think taking this chunk out will immediately make it go fwa. Flatten real nice. Let's find out. Let's find out if I go like this. Yeah, see, immediately the pattern relaxes a lot. Yeah, that's immediately so much better. So I'm not going to finish cutting it out because I don't want to lose it. But tomorrow, when I do go to cut them out, I'll finish cutting it out. Problem solved. And this piece is also really small. This is our nose piece, which is also going to be reflected. There we go. And then, yeah, that's what I figured. We are gonna put a little dart right there to help him lie flat. Although honestly, I don't know how much that dart's gonna do. There's gonna be a big old dart right here, I feel like. Or at least a little one at the bottom. Because I would like to do this, and then make this the dart right up to there, you know? Because then there's that line at the bottom with dog noses, rather than a line down the top of the nose. He's got a witty bitty nose. He doesn't have a big old boober snooper. I find that I do rather small noses on a lot of my suits. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And then we do need to, because this is the jaw, cut a little dart right there. That dart is absolutely necessary. It's a small dart, but it's very important. Hi, I am good! We are actually just now finishing making our pieces lay flat. Although I do have some that I need to go over and put a little flippy symbol on. Because otherwise I'll forget to reflect them later. But we are working on a set of twin suits. I live in the US. I'm from Michigan. That's a hard question, buddy. Originally, not from here, but currently, Michigan. So, it's complicated. I need this one, and this one, I think. I think these are all of the ones that need to be reflected. Snoot. Long story short, I'm a military brat, so I've been too many places. I've been to too many places. Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad you like furry. Otherwise, this would be a rough surprise. As you're popping in, what in the world is this crap? I have had that happen before. Some very aggressive people out there. But that's alright, that's alright. Some people just don't know, you know? And I think this is this piece, right? That's how this went. Yeah. So I do need to actually reflect this part of the head. This is not the same Sharpie I had earlier. What in the world? This is a different Sharpie entirely. That might be my Sharpie from earlier. Neat. Oh well. As long as it draws, that's what matters. And we do need to reflecticles, that one. This is the bridge. Although I guess I don't need to label it if I know what it is. Whoop. Gotcha. I went to college for graphic design. Well, technically art and design, but a lot of it was just graphic design. And then a little bit of ceramics. I did ceramics for a few semesters. And I did some figure drawing and some oil painting. They make you take a lot of weird classes in college. Some of it I never use, and then other parts are actually, you know, fairly important. Doo-doo-doo. There we go. Reflectos. And then that is... I wish I hadn't torn his ear in the process. I'm actually going to get out the hot glue gun. I'm going to fix that loose patch while I'm thinking about it. While I fix his ear while I'm at it. I do like furry artworks. I make a lot of my own. And then I tend to shop around when I'm at cons, specifically. Because I like to do the charity auctions. Woo! I pulled on the phone cord. Everybody's going on an adventure. Nobody's plugged in properly. Here, don't move, Bingus. There we go. There we go. I mostly do, like, Telegram stickers, personally. A lot of people commission me for Telegram stickers. And then I occasionally do just like general portraits and sometimes some spicy stuff. That's few and far between though. Most people don't come to me for spicy. And then I do a lot of reference sheets because I do a lot of pre-mades. So I make a lot of reference sheets for any of the pre-mades that I make. And I did do some of the, I did all of the stickers actually that I have for this channel, including our little crimes boy and our little shaky boy. He is so excited to be here. Gotta wait for the hot glue gun to warm up. It's taking its sweet time warming up. At least we got some good vibes. But yeah, I do a lot of furry art. I enjoy it. I like looking at it. But most of the time, if I do like anything with furry art, it's just something I either make for myself or a commission I do for someone else, you know? I don't get a whole lot of time to draw stuff for me. Because usually I'm busy doing stuff like this. Most of the year I spend doing fursuit commissions. Which sometimes means I have to draw some art for it, because some people commission me for a badge to go with it, or they'll commission an artistic liberty suit, in which case I need to make them a reference sheet for the character, and, you know, this, that, and the other thing. It's a whole thing. But mostly outside of that, I don't get to do too much. But I'm trying. I'm trying to do more of it, because it's something I do enjoy doing. Still waiting for the hot glue to warm up. I'm gonna put a little dibby dabble where this ear chunk tore. Hot glue. It's only a little warm, so it's not really hot. Just enough to melt it. I have spilled hot glue on me to the point of blistering multiple times. There's actually one time. This is a bit gory, so if you're not into this, just close your ear holes for like 30 seconds. I spilled hot glue all over me. And like it was everywhere, it was burning, and it was on my hands, and it was on my lap, and it was everywhere, it was awful. So I'm trying to get it off my hands, it's hurting, right? And I see this big old glob on my thumb. And I'm like, fuck it, it's all over both my hands. Take my teeth, rip it off. It was not a glob of hot glue. It was in fact my thumb with a blister from how hot the hot glue was. And I just tore a chunk of my thumb out. You can now turn your ears back on. So yeah, that was awful, horrible. Don't recommend it. Careful with hot glue is the long and the short of that. But I'm gonna put some more glue on this guy just to make sure that he's got enough glue for all of his stuff and things. Because I don't want that peeling up later. And then this side we determined was fine. What about our other boy? What about our other boy? Come here, brown boy. Whee! I realize that might sound wrong. He's brown boy because he has brown eyes. This guy's got the brown eyes, that guy's got the blue eyes. This is brown boy. Oh, no. Wait, which part? Which part did we hear when we popped in? Which part did we hear? No! I'm sorry. Were we hearing the part where I ripped a chunk out of my thumb, or where I called him brown boy because he has brown eyes? Listen, they're identical suits, and this is the only way for me to really tell them apart right now is by their eye color, okay? I swear. No. I just want to make sure that his little ear vents aren't loosey-goosey. He's got a little loosey-goosey spot on that side, but otherwise he's a little loosey-goosey right there too. When in doubt, glue it down. It's fine. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on him just to make sure he stays. We don't want that coming loose later. Sure. There we go. Oh. All betters. All betters. All glued. Okay, good. Good. That's, well, I guess not good, because then you came into that story, and that's not a great story to come in on. But, don't do that. Yeah, be careful with the hot glue gun, or you will lose a finger. It's not fun. I have many a scar. Surprisingly not from that. That's one of the few things I don't have a scar from. I have other fun stories about things you should be careful with, such as box cutters and pizza ovens. I actually still have a spot on my arm that I can't feel because of the pizza oven story. Although the scar is mostly faded. Like, you can just barely see it in, like, the right lighting. It's not raised. It's a weird burn scar, so they'd be like that. It'd be like that. But, no, everybody's glued in nice. Hello, my son. You have come to bug me once again for the thing I told you no about, like, 3 separate times? He wants to go outside is what he wants. He wants to go outside. He went outside just before stream. He does not need to go. In fact, he went outside twice before stream. And he's a weirdo who only does one thing each time he goes outside of. So, he pees once, he poops on the second time. So I know he doesn't have to go, he just wants to be outside. Because he's a butthole. Oh, that's a big yawn. That was a really aggressive yawn. Just came over and aggressively yawned at me. But, he's a big baby. Yeah, definitely gotta be careful around ovens. I also used to work around ovens on the daily. Because pizza. I used to work at a pizza place. And despite doing that for a good 6 years beforehand, I still managed to be a dumbass. And get really, really burnt by one of the oven doors. So don't be stupid around ovens or stupid things will happen. Yes, it's the baby. This is Forrest. This is the baby mans. Say hello, baby mans. Look at the camera. Good boy. Good baby. There is also another doggo, but she's being sneaky right here. She is a good girl. She is old, and she is in her chair, so she's not going to get up. She wishes to live there. That is her home. Would you stop licking your sister? Hi, baby mans. Do you want uppies? You want uppies? Oh, big stretch from the baby mans. Ooh, big stretch. Do you want uppies? You want to come here? You want to come up ups? Hi, hello, baby. Hello, the baby. Hello, the baby. Oh, you're so scrunkly. You're so scrunkly. You need a brushing. Yes, you do. You are a baby. You're a good baby. Hello. He is biggest baby, and he's constantly in need of attentions because he is biggest baby. He is our COVID puppy. Not really. He's not even a year old. Well, no, you are a year old. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? It's like, I don't know. He's a little over a year old. So he's still very much puppy, but he's a big boy. Do not yell at the neighbors. No. What did I just say? I said don't yell at the neighbors. He's thinking about it. There's a window behind the 3D printer, and sometimes the neighbors exist, and apparently that's horrible. That's totally illegal. Nobody's allowed to exist, according to Forrest. Say hi, baby mans. I promise the only thing out there is the Christmas trees. He's gonna be nosy anyway, and he's probably gonna holler about it. Because he's a butt like that. He is, in fact, asshole. We do need this as well. Where did my pen? Okay. I was panicking. Yeah, the old dog's also a puppy. Say hi, Bingle. You're also a puppy. She is 11, I think. She's gotten old enough that we don't remember how old she is anymore. That's how old she is. She is also a puppy. She likes the good cuddles and scratches. Huh, Bingle? You're a good girl. She would be wagging her tail, but it's currently stuck under her own butt. So we get what we get, and that's just her looking up at me with her big ol' eyeballs. Say hi, Bingus. You and your big ol' eyeballs. Oh, the Bingus. Oh, the baby. The baby Bingle. You want your rope? He does. Where are you going? You don't even know where I'm throwing it yet. What if I want to throw it that way? Into the closet? What if I don't want to throw it? Oh! children. Ooh! You're getting up there, up there. So I think the oldest dog that we've had was Odie, and she made it to 14. She was a Westie Lab mix, so she had little tiny Westie legs and the really long Westie hair, but she was colored like a lab, and she had the entire lab torso on those little Westie legs, so she was 35 pounds of chonk. She kind of looked like a corgi, not gonna lie. But she was from a whoopsie litter in Germany, and we ended up bringing her back home with us when we came back to the States. And she was a good dog. She was a real good dog. She was loud, but she was a real good dog otherwise. You're a good dog too, Bingo. Yeah. You're a good girl. Bingus is also a lab mix. You can't see her because she's right here in the chair. Her name is actually Sarah, but I call her Bingus. Would you come here and give me the rope? We don't know what she's mixed with. We got her from a shelter in Alabama. But she's tall. She's got a lot of leg, and she weighs about 60 pounds. So she's mostly leg. She's a very lanky baby, even now that she's chunky and old. Say, huh? You got a little chunky when you got old. Yeah. Can't exercise enough no more. And then, of course, Forrest, standard poodle, who's taking me with him. Say, huh? So you're not too big. You're a little puppy. I mean, you're big, but you're not big. He's like 45 pounds, so... Come here. Come here, big baby. Show him that you weigh like a sack of grapes. Well, if you stop yumping, I can pick you up. He's like, I'm helping. I'm yumping, and that is helpful. Whoa, what is Camo doing? Whoa, stream! But he's like a sack of potatoes. He is good boy. There you go. He does not care. He saw the neighbors. He's busy looking at other stuff. But unfortunately, you did come in a bit late to stream. Because we are actually getting ready to go to bed because it is my bedtime. I know, I see that. Camo has been a pain in my butt today. I don't know what it has going on, but good lord has it been struggling ever since I started stream. But we got pretty much everything done for the twin suits that I could do today, which means that everything else is tomorrow me's problem. May or may not also stream tomorrow. Currently the stream schedule is just up in the air. I might just stream video games tomorrow. I might not stream at all. Who knows? But you did happen to catch us at the end of stream. When I stream is also debatable. I might not stream at the same time tomorrow. I'll probably stream much, much earlier in the day. But... Huzzah! Follows! Thank you for the follow. There you go. Now you can stalk my butt. And you'll have to know what we're up to. What are we up to? I don't even know. It's a surprise to everybody. But I think we'll skedaddle on a little raid. If I can find somebody. Who can we find? Who do we want to raid? There's nobody. Everybody's dead. Everybody in McKinney is dead. Dude, anybody I know? Nobody I know is streaming. We can pop over to Pottery. How do we feel about Pottery? I think we should pop over to Pottery. They're glazing today. Wait, would you please start the race? It's so slow. My poor computer's chugging. My poor computer is chug-a-lugging. But we're going to skedaddle over there and see what they're up to. And I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. And Baby Mans will probably also be here because he's always a needy baby. Yes, you are. Always. Don't burp in my face. That would be gross. But we will skedaddle. And I will see you guys eventually.